I'm on the YouTube thing and I don't see it. Wait. Yeah, I'm on the YouTube thing and I don't see it.
It's there.
Are you sure?
I'm
Because I'm
on it.
looking at the YouTube thing and I don't see it.
It's there, I promise you.
It's not.
It's gotta be.
It's not.
It has to be.
Go. Okay, there it is.
I told you.
God. Welcome back to the Love and Marriage Podcast. I am your off-white host, Wendy O. This is my co-host, Hotep Jesus. Tonight, I've got a lot to say.
You got a lot to say tonight.
Oh, I got a lot to say. I got a list, man.
Oh man, you know when Wendy comes with a list of stuff, it's gonna be hot. It's gonna be
some good stuff. I haven't washed my hair in about a week now. I had to order some of the old baby powder because the new baby powder they have cornstarch in it, and you cannot use something with cornstarch on your hair because it doesn't soak up that oil. Because I can't wash my hair every day. Anyways. How was your home?
I'm tweeting the link out right now to the Twitters, and the caption is gonna be: "We're talking about the soon to be extinct nuclear family."
Please, because that's exactly what's happening. And I've got some tea. Well, I've got all kinds of tea, and it's just not good stuff, man. I'm seeing all of these things that are being posted on the internet. I don't know what these people. What their logic is, what they're thinking, why I don't understand why people think that having two parents, a man and a woman as parents, why it's a bad thing.
Why is it a bad thing? I'm gonna tell you what all this stuff comes back to. And it comes back to the whole feminist thing. These motherfuckers is hurt. They are hurt. They have been some either is no daddy at home disorder or some man in their life has done them wrong. And then the powers that be, obviously the powers that be, they like to destabilize the family so they can come in and command women to vote for Joe Biden and whatever else evil bidding they want them to do.
Can you imagine voting for Joe Biden in 2020?
You know, it's like, it's one thing to vote for the guy, right? It's another thing to get mad at me because I didn't. Right?
Could you imagine voting for somebody who smells children?
Oh my God. And gropes them.
Could you first off, if you're with your baby somewhere, if you're with your children, and some random ass old man comes up and comes too close to your child, I'm swinging. That's
Facts.
it.
Facts. No questions asked.
When it comes to the kids, I don't care. But I don't. You know what? And this is the Hotep Jesus YouTube channel is my safe space. I can say whatever I want on here, which I know some people are probably thinking, Wendy, what the hell? The Hotep Jesus YouTube channel is your safe space.
Yo, but it's like, all right, fine. You want to be an idiot and you want to vote for this guy. Fine. But how dare you get mad at me because I didn't? Like, people are telling me I'm problematic because I didn't vote for the fucking pedophile, because I didn't vote for the father of a crackhead. How are you mad at me?
I saw some. I saw something on TikTok, and he voted against. What was it? I forget the man's name, but was he the first black man on the Supreme Court?
Yeah.
He was the only person that voted against him.
No, it wasn't the first, because the first was Thurgood Marshall.
Okay.
This was maybe the second. Damn, why is his name slipping my mind right now?
Was it Clarence Thomas?
Thank you, Clarence Thomas. Thank you, Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas, yes. And they tried to yeah, he did vote against him, but they also tried to come down on him on some like fake ass sexual assault or sexual harassment allegations and whatnot. And that's when he called it a modern day lynching. Clarence Thomas did.
God. Speaking of that, I have a really cool announcement that came out of my city that I just moved out of, and I can dox my city because I don't live there anymore. Where the freak is it? I thought I retweeted it. Where is it? If I don't have it, I'm going to be so sad. Oh my God. So my old city that I lived in, it is not a nice neighborhood, but apparently a gentleman that grew up there, he is going to be the first black man that's going to go to space, I think.
I'm gonna put another nigga in space. Wonderful. I love it. I love it. And he's where? From your old city?
Yes, and he's from Los Angeles, California.
Oh wow. Look at that. Niggas
And
in
our
space. Sounds like a great movie. Niggas in space.
why you got what was that movie? Something South Central, something in Don't Be a Menace to South
Don't be a
Central.
menace in South Central while sipping your gin and juice or something like that. Yeah.
That was a good movie. I really liked that
Movie is
movie.
a classic.
I loved it. I grew up watching stuff like that, but I saw that I was like, that's awesome because I mean, the whole race thing, that's great and fantastic. But at the end of the day, he's representing my city, and the city is so freaking poor. The murder rate is high. It's just not a nice city. And the fact that somebody grew up there and he came out, he's doing something successful with his life. I love to see it.
You love to see it. Absolutely.
I love to see it.
Absolutely. Somebody asked me, they said, who's the hot white girl?
Oh, the off-white girl.
There, I just put her name up. It's there. Wendy O. It's Wendy O. Welcome anytime, nigga.
What was I gonna say? Oh, how was your Halloween? Because I got a story for you. It is the funniest story.
We didn't do shit. We didn't
What
do
about
shit.
the fiance? Did she do anything?
She dressed up. She put her outfit on. She had a skeleton outfit, and then in the belly area, it had like a baby skeleton. And she
That's so cute.
She went to go get her nails done, and everybody complimented her on her costume.
And what the kids dress up as?
Not a damn thing.
And you took your ass from your grumpy old man chair with Uncle Hotep to go be with Alex Jones, right, for the whole election thing.
No, I was home. I only did a daytime special.
I was joking because you said, I commented and you're like, oh, I'm not traveling. I says, yeah, you're gonna take your ass from your grumpy old man, or put your ass in your grumpy old man chair and roll over there.
Hopefully, we'll be out there next year.
So we did. So for Halloween, we went to the boxing gym because Miss Nita had the little mini turnip. So my daughter had a really great time. My husband came. Everybody had a good time. It was all good. And then it was so cute. Miss Nita's her auntie came, and her aunt, because I say auntie, but I met her and I like helped her. I walked her from the parking lot, whatever. And so she introduced herself to me and she's like, I'm your auntie now. And I says, oh, thanks. And then I had my daughter introduce herself and she's like, I was like, Waylon, this is me, Miss Nita's auntie. She's like, no, it's auntie. And then, so I met a bunch of her family. We had a really, really good time. But one of her cousins had their little baby that was like 1 or 2 years old, or it was 2 years old. And so my daughter walked over to go play because my daughter will go play with anybody. So the little boy grabs her lollipop out of her hand and all the adults are laughing and dying. And my daughter is looking like, oh my God, this baby. She's like, but mommy, he stole my lollipop. I was like, no, baby, it's okay. But it was so cute because she had walked over to the mom and she's like, can I please pat your baby because he's so cute? And then the baby goes and snatches her damn lollipop and like it was like ruined her life for the night.
Poor Lo.
Poor baby. But we had a good time, and it was just cool to meet her family, and her auntie was really proud of her, and she's like, she started off from nothing and she built this really big great thing. So it was a good time. We dressed up because we're not bah humbug over here.
Oh, white people and their holidays.
Your fiance dress up.
She's white too. I tell her all the time she's white. She's a white girl. She's light skinned, but she still act like a white girl.
It's okay. Let her be. Let her do her thing.
The white liberal has done a great job of turning Negroes into white people.
Can you just let people do what they want to do?
No. I'm a grumpy old man. I'm the Grinch. Fuck that. Stop celebrating holidays.
Do you guys celebrate Christmas?
Unfortunately.
What do you mean, unfortunately?
It's fucking another stupid ass holiday.
It's not for you. It's for the kids.
That's true. That's true. I do say Christmas is for the kids. The funny thing is about these holidays is they happen once every quarter, and it's like the government always wants you to come out of your pocket once every quarter. We go from New Year's to Valentine's Day to Easter to Mother's Day to Father's Day to July 4th, and then Labor Day, and then Halloween.
Okay, listen.
Then Thanksgiving.
Listen. That is part of the
Christmas.
nuclear family. It's part of the nuclear family. It is. It's tradition. Tradition.
Yeah, that's part of fucking propaganda for corporate propaganda.
It is. It is. But at the same
spending.
it is. But at the same time, too, it brings. If anything, I should be the one that hates Christmas because my dad died on Christmas Eve when I was 11 years old. I remember because I was supposed to go. Me and my sisters were supposed to go with my dad and my evil stepmom and my brother, because I have a brother. I don't talk about him because it's like that's a whole nother drama. But we were supposed to go stay for Christmas, and my mom's like, "No, your dad's sick." So we didn't go, and I was so mad at my mom. And then we got the call the next morning, and I knew. I was just like, man. But if I can like Christmas, you can too. You don't have an excuse now.
Ah, now you're gonna guilt trip me.
I am gonna guilt. I'm gonna do that white woman thing, guilt trip.
And I'm so susceptible to that too. I hate it.
All right. So what else was I gonna say? Oh, I did. Guess who I interviewed today?
John McAfee.
No, that motherfucker's in prison.
No, I was hoping you would say that.
Roger Ver.
Did you?
I did, yeah.
Good old Raj.
I did.
How'd that go?
It went well. It was a fireside chat for a conference that I did media for in the past, and I hosted their opening event for them. I got sponsors. I did all that stuff.
You're talking about
Futurist.
Futurist. Yeah, I'm speaking tomorrow.
Ooh, would love to see it.
We sponsored that shit.
Did you?
Yeah, Halima hit me up and she was like, "Hey, are you doing this Futurist thing?" I'm like, I didn't even know anything about it. And she's like, "Wendy O's on there." I'm like, "Oh, well, it must be dope if Wendy O's on there." So I ended up coughing up $500 to be a sponsor. So Coinbits is actually a sponsor of Futurist, and I'll be speaking there tomorrow. Yeah.
Well, I will retweet that to get some maximum exposure for the cryptocurrency space.
Dope. I appreciate that.
But yeah, no, it was good. I sat and talked to him. Have you interviewed him before? I feel like you have.
Nah, he hasn't accepted the invite yet.
You want me to email him?
Yeah, email that motherfucker, yo.
I'm going to tell him. I'm going to be like, listen, you need to go on. He tried to give me some B cash throughout the interview. And I was like, I have some Bitcoin cash. I don't have a whole lot. But Roger is a very, very smart man. And the maximalists could hate on him as much as they want. But at the end of the day, he is out in Antigua and he created some learning materials for the kids at the high school there regarding cryptocurrency. So I can jive with that. So do you want the tea on what happened?
Yeah. Give me the tea while I look and see how much Bitcoin and cash I have in my wallet.
So I'm not going to say who it is because somebody that you know too.
Oh, wow. Really?
That I introduced you to.
That you introduced me to. Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm. So I have a podcast and it's called Trader Talk. And when I have my guests on, I ask them very specific questions. I had this person on my podcast before recently, and I checked Twitter the other day, and this person's like, "Oh, I'm starting a new show, and I'm going to be asking traders da 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 da." And I said, I double looked. I was like, "The fuck is this person talking about?" And sure enough, those are the same questions that I asked in my podcast, and nobody gave me credit.
They took your questions?
Yes.
They stole your questions?
Yes.
Wow. They couldn't even do the work. They couldn't even ask for permission and say, "Hey, look, I need your help," right? Because I'm sure if they would have said, "Hey, Wendy O, I'm going to do this interview. I need your help. Can you help me with some questions?" You'd have been like, "Sure, I got you." Mm-hmm. Right?
I've done that for quite a few people. He's not the first person that has taken something that I've done and not given me credit. In fact, there is a large majority of the beta cuck incels in the crypto space that used to trash me for doing paid marketing and disclosing it. And now they all have marketing agencies.
Basically, they were jealous that you were doing something that they wouldn't dare do.
Now they're doing it.
And now that they saw that you did it and you were successful at it, okay, now it's safe. Now it's safe to do.
So my next question to you is, how does a woman navigate a male dominated industry and deal with stuff like that, because that does stem into a relationship question. Because I asked my husband, and my husband is like, he doesn't really know how to answer it because he's in a male dominated industry, but he's a dude. And his resolution is a little bit different because he's from the streets.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a tough question, right? I think it's a tough question because I would deal with everything that happens on a case-by-case basis and not necessarily from a gender point of view. Because you understand about a lot of these tech spaces, just because it's male-dominated doesn't mean it's masculine-dominated.
Right.
Because masculinity creates space for women. Insecurity does not. And what you have is beta cuck controlled industry. That's what we're dealing with. It's not male dominated. It's beta cuck dominated. Because if it was masculine dominated, they would exalt the women and say, hey, look, we got crypto Wendy O, great woman. Let's protect her. Be respectful of women. Like today on my Twitter, this girl was coming at me about something I tweeted about Biden. Mm-hmm. And I responded respectfully. And people were like, damn, this is out of the ordinary for you to speak so respectful. And I said, we spare women and children here, right? That's how I was raised. If you're a dude, you catch hell and you get hit with the block button. I believe in gender roles. But with the women, we play that soft, right? We give them patience because we understand how emotions are involved with women, and we got to respect that. They are the emotional part of the human being. So what you're dealing with is beta cucked. So yeah, Ken, insecure boys posing as men. Absolutely. And thank you for the super chat. I'm gonna read in a second. I would call that motherfucker out. The dude that stole your questions. That's just me though. Or I would call him out in private. Say, yo, you stole my questions, right? Because I'm gonna do that. Yeah, either in public or private. I would go private first, right? And I say, yo, you stole my questions, right? And see how he responds.
This is the thing, and I was really upset about it last night because sometimes, like, I try not to be like, okay, there's gender roles and with crypto and blah blah blah. But sometimes when stuff like this happens, I'm like, if it was another dude, they wouldn't. I feel like they wouldn't have done it to another dude because I don't know why. That's how I felt. Maybe it's just because
another dude would have called their ass out.
Right. And I'm not one to publicly post stuff because I don't like publicly shaming people unless you're like a legit like
ass.
Yeah, I just not into doing that because to me,
and that's why he did it. And that's exactly why he did it, because he knew you wasn't going to put him on blast. That's exactly why he did it.
But man, it's just like, I don't like, why do I even have to? Why do we even like? I feel like, and this isn't the first time it's happening, but it's like I'm trying. I'm at a place in my life where I feel like my vibration. It's vibrating at a higher frequency. I'm able to not be immature. I'm able to let things go. But I feel like shit like this keeps happening, and I don't know what I'm doing to bring this type of energy to me.
Yeah, I'd call his ass out.
Well, I'm going to send him a message and be like, look, and this person, he's got a whole team behind him. He's got a marketing agency. He's got all kinds of stuff behind him, helping him. And because I put a tweet out saying kind of a little bit of what happened, but not too terribly much. Everything I built myself. I built myself as being a stay-at-home mom with no college degree, with not a lot of education regarding technology. Didn't know how to trade. Everything I built myself. Like I do my editing, I do my scripting, I do my graphics, I do my booking, I do my brokering, I do everything myself. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of these dudes in crypto, and I'm not hating on the white man at all, but I feel like a lot of them are majority of like white males that have never been punched in the mouth and they've had no consequences. They've never had something happen to them for their actions because mom and dad's always there to bail them out.
Yeah. Again, these beta cucks, straight up beta cucks. That's what the problem is.
Well, anyways, that's that. But I got some other stuff I want to talk about that I think that is pretty important. So as far as I do want to say Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans that have served, that are serving now or that have served in the past. And isn't he a veteran as well?
Yeah, not of this country, but yeah.
I still like to support and to respect them as well, because if you're in the United States and even if you've served somewhere else, I feel like it's something very admirable.
Oh, indeed. Absolutely. I was supposed to go into the military, and for some strange reason, well, not a strange reason, but I had a little bit of legal trouble. So the Air Force wouldn't accept me. I was hoping they'd be able to get me out of my little, legal problems and say, hey, look, drop this case because blah, 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 blah. He's coming into the Air Force. But the Air Force was like, nah, handle that shit and then you can apply. But by the time that was done, I kind of figured out where I was going with my life. And I had a kid, and that was all she wrote. Here we are. I sometimes I have like these dreams, though, these recurring dreams. Like one time I had a dream that I was going to go into the military, and I was the day that they picked me up was Thursday, and all I kept saying to myself was, oh my God, I'm going to miss Hotep's been told you. Like, how could I go to the military after stream tonight? And I woke up out of my sleep like, oh no, I'm streaming.
Thank God.
My YouTube.
Oh, could you? Well, that actually happened to my father-in-law. So my father-in-law got in a lot of trouble, and his dad was like military, like 25 years. And so what they did is they actually got rid of, they cleared his record, or they says either you go to jail or you go to the military. So he went to the military, and this was in Vietnam, but he didn't go to Vietnam. He went to Germany, and he did a lot of acid and smoked a lot of hash the whole time.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people. I was on a podcast earlier, and we were talking about how most men, or I'm not gonna say most, but a lot of men, when they went into war, the way to cope was through drugs. And a lot of people came back with addiction, especially in Vietnam.
I feel like Vietnam was really. That war, if you look at that compared to World War I and World War II, it was just like a different breed, kind of, because like, were they even really fighting for anything, or are they just like there? I mean,
when you read my new book, you're gonna learn a lot about the Vietnam War and the BS that pulled us into it. Oh yeah.
Well, I'm definitely going to check that out, because I know at least I have my great grandfather. He, I think I told you this story, but he came from Romania, and he somehow was an orphan, and he came from Romania, ended up in Canada. From Canada, he hopped the border, came to the United States. This was probably back in had to be way, way, way back. It was my grandma's dad, and he signed up to go back and fight in the war. To serve his country. He wasn't drafted. He signed up to fight, and he was wounded, and he actually went in and saved a couple guys, and he got a heart, I think a Purple Heart or something like that. But he, as far as like his background and exactly how he got here and where he came from, he just didn't talk about it. No one asked him, because it was so, he just didn't ask about that type of stuff back then. But
The chat said Steven Crowder got stabbed today.
Who?
Steven Crowder.
Who's that?
Media personality, influencer, YouTuber.
I gotta look this up.
Is that true?
I didn't see it on Twitter.
Update Beverly's nightmare. I know Beverly got stabbed.
Oh, he's a conservative. Wait.
Yeah, he's a conservative. Yeah.
No, all I see. I don't think it. Oh, wait.
He was debating someone, and they pulled out a switchblade. That's what Joe 56984 said. I don't know how real that is, though.
It looks like it's old news.
Is that old?
Yeah, because I'm looking on Reddit. It was like a year ago, I think.
Oh.
I don't know. I have a question for you. What do you think do you think that Trump is going to claim presidency? Do you think that they're going to win in court?
He ain't going down without a fight, and the law is actually really funny. So how does it go? Elected President. I want to look up what the law says because the law technically say he don't gotta concede. What am I trying to find?
Shout out to Natasha. Thank you so much for the super chat. Joe said that they cut the live stream, but said the person was taken by security. I checked, Joe. I checked and I couldn't find it. Yeah, I can't find it. Did you find the law?
No. Nominated probably consists of primary election, nominated electoral college, election days, electoral count, with several states submitted competing state elected, the law, established procedures, submitted codified eligibility requirements, Article 2, nominating campaign strategy, electoral college. Hold on. Okay.
Supposed to have all these memorized, Hotep.
I know. Okay, it says concession is entirely optional, and candidates sometimes refuse to concede defeat despite the vote count being against them, especially if they suspect electoral fraud or miscount in a close race. In that case, the candidate would likely demand a recount of votes and other investigations. Sometimes concession may be denied, not because of any specific fraud, but simply because ill will accumulated over the campaign. It is not necessary for the losing candidate to concede for the winning candidate to be seated, and the losing candidate is not obliged to concede once defeat has been conclusively demonstrated.
Simple English.
Simply saying Trump don't gotta concede his spot to Biden just cause Biden was so-called elected.
Well, that's not Biden that's gonna be president. It's gonna be Kamala.
Right. That's true. That is true.
So there was actually one of the reasons why I don't talk about politics a whole lot on Twitter. There's this girl on TikTok. She's very, very famous. She's a Puerto Rican woman. She's married to an Italian man, and she's got like 3 million followers. But she basically said that I'm voting for Trump this year. And you know what people did? They completely canceled her. They went to her on her job's website. They posted all of this fake crap about her. They bullied her online. They did very terrible things, like absolutely disgusting, terrible things. And I'm reading the comments on some of this stuff, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so here for it. F her, da 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 da." But it's like when you start to hurt somebody to where you're messing with their income, like there's code, like at least on the street, there's code. Like if you mess with somebody's money on the street, like there's grounds for you to get like all kinds of stuff to happen. And it's all like liberal stuff. It's all liberals that are doing this, and they think it's okay.
Yo, it's really dirty. I was talking about this with some black liberals on the voice chat app, and what they were talking about, I was basically saying that America's mostly liberal, and liberals being liberals mainstream, and they were trying to fight that. I'm like, bro, you could lose your job, you could lose your life behind this shit. You say you're liberal, and it's just like you get promoted, and everybody says it's okay and it's normal. But if you say you're conservative, you're automatically ostracized as being racist or a sellout. So there is no room for freedom of thought and freedom of opinion. It doesn't exist.
Well, that's the scary thing behind it. And I understand a lot of people, like there's Q and there's like all these conspiracy theories, all these things coming out. But at the end of the day, yes, some of these theories are 100% false. But at the same time, too, if you're not questioning things, then you're a sheep and you're letting somebody else control you and control what you do and control what happens to your family. And to me, that's scary, because I don't want somebody, can you imagine someone coming in your house and saying, you can't have kids, or you can't be married, or you can't live under the same roof as your fiance, or, you know, just taking little things from you because it's not socially acceptable. Because the way that society is, they don't want people to get married. They don't encourage you to get married because it's, I don't know why anymore, but I think marriage is a beautiful thing. I think it's a beautiful thing when you can be committed to somebody. I think it's a beautiful thing when you have a family, and that when there's a mother and there's a father. And if you stop asking questions, what are you teaching your kids? You're teaching your kids to not ask questions. And to me, that's scary, because, and I'm going to talk about an extreme situation. What happens if a stranger walks up to your kid and you don't teach your child to ask questions or to stand up for themselves because it's frowned upon, and that person abducts your child because they don't ask questions?
Right. Yeah. I mean, when you can't ask questions, it's basically constraining your thought session, your thought process too. You know, it's very ugly. But again, that's why I'm like, I'm asking people, and it's like fine, you know, you want to be liberal, you want to be Democrat, you want to vote Biden, and I'm not even going to argue about your decision, because I know I can't argue that, because if you're dumb enough to do that, there's no way I'm going to argue with that, right? You can't argue with stupid. You can't argue with ignorance. But it's just crazy to me when they challenge me and say, well, you didn't want to go this way. It's just like, wait, hold on now. I said you got freedom to do you. I don't have freedom to do me. And that's where things get real sticky, man. You know, it's ugly, but it shows you how far the program has gone.
I guess, I don't know if it's ironic or more funny, but I'm watching video, and I knew that this was going to happen, because I remember when Trump won the presidency back in, what was it, 2016, 27, back then, his first term, when he won. I remember the riots and when they were shutting stuff down, the freeways down in LA County. And my daughter was still young. I think I was still on maternity leave, and I was scared to go back to work because that was my route to go. And my friend, my girl Megan, her best friend lived down in downtown Los Angeles, and he was walking home, and the people that shut down the freeway, they beat the shit out of him because he was white. He's like, I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't vote for Trump. And they beat the living piss out of him. And now I'm hearing that BLM is calling for, what did they do? They pulled their support from Biden now, or something crazy? Yeah,
there's pockets of independent Black Lives Matter protesters who, the media is not going to show you that though, because you got to remember, when BLM first hit the scene, the media was not favorable towards them. And that's why Black Lives Matter became so big, because we noticed that there was a complete media blackout. It wasn't until Trump became president, or was running to be president, that the media flipped and gave positive coverage of BLM. And the Democrats ran cover for Antifa. But now that these people are saying things like that, then absolutely, you're going to have that honesty is going to come through. These groups, they're like very much anti-establishment. They're very much anti-white. So they don't like Trump or Biden. And I prefer that approach much better than, picking one or the other.
My issue with it is that's fine. You don't have to like Trump or Biden, because me personally, like we had a female candidate run, Joy Georgeson, and people were screaming about feminism and change and stuff like that. If you really want to change, wouldn't you have voted for her?
For who?
Jo Jorgensen is a woman.
Right. They never vote third party. It's like the third party doesn't exist. I spoke to a friend of mine who's a political strategist and worked on many campaigns, and he said running third party is like a waste of time.
That makes sense, but it's still, if you're screaming for change, why wouldn't you, as a anti-establishment, why wouldn't you take that route and be like, fuck you?
Exactly.
is putting a candidate as a third party and getting your BLM, getting your people together and voting for that candidate.
You know, again, it comes back down to the Democrats do such a good job of brainwashing people. They'll say, oh, well, vote for Kanye as a vote for Trump. So then people are like, oh, no, we can't vote for Kanye because Kanye is another third party candidate. And again, I was arguing with black liberals over why we're not voting for Kanye. And they were making excuses why we shouldn't. And I'm just like, yo, what world do y'all live in?
Hey, you know what? At least if they put Kanye in the office, Kim would be getting a bunch of people out of jail that they're serving wrongful sentences.
Yeah, Kim been going in, man.
I can get behind it. I support that. Did you see this little video on Twitter that everybody is all excited about where grandparents are hugging their grandkids in between a plastic sheet and they can't feel the skin and everybody's like really excited. They're like, this is such a cool invention. This is perfect.
No, I didn't see that.
Well, number one, it's fucking stupid. Number two, then this is recommended by medical, like doctors, everybody. When a newborn baby, the first thing that they tell you to do is to do skin to skin contact. Once you pull that child out, they put that nude child on the mother's chest and they get that skin contact going on, or they have the dad take the dad's shirt off. Because my husband did the same thing, and they have the baby on the skin because it's bonding. It feels good. You feel that warmth. You feel that love. You feel that vibration. And if they're recommending this for newborn babies, I think it's equally as important for, obviously in different aspects, but like for older people and for kids, and obviously not to have that nude skin to skin contact, but still be able to feel somebody, not with a sheet of plastic in front of you.
I saw it was one black girl, I would say racially ambiguous, but she's definitely in the urban demographic space, and she said we need another round of lockdowns, blue check verified. And then another black man, blue check verified industry cat, said, yeah, I totally agree. And I'm just sitting here like, oh my god, yo, like these people are the same ones that complain about white supremacy and be the first ones to advocate for the white man to lock us down. And I'm just like, don't y'all, and the thing is, their income's not hurt by it because, you know, they're making their money online or whatever it may be. And they don't understand that the lockdowns are the last thing we need. It's the only people that it hurts are small business, man, and people trying to make it. And oh my God, how many businesses you're going to put out of business with another lockdown?
It's already bad. It's bad. We successfully completed our move. Oh, my husband was racially profiled in our neighborhood.
Oh, y'all moved. Y'all definitely. That's how you know you in a good neighborhood, when you get racially profiled.
So my husband is darker skinned. He's Hispanic, and we're the gentleman that we hired to move us. They are from they're Mexican too, darker skin. So he's out there moving. He's like helping them unload stuff off the truck. And so the neighbor, she comes up. She goes, so you guys are moving in today? And he goes, yeah. And she goes, oh, you and all these people? And he's like, no, me, my wife, and my daughter. She's like, but you have a 4-bedroom house. And he's like, yeah, I know. And she's like, but you're not bringing your friends with you? And he's like, no. And I'm like, he came to the house and told me. I was like, oh my God, how embarrassing. So we made it. We're in the burbs now. But
yo, if you don't get racially profiled, you ain't in a nice neighborhood. And I guarantee you those is Biden supporters.
Actually, I don't know.
I guarantee you.
When we first pulled up in this neighborhood, they were having a mini Trump rally outside by the park.
Well, that's the only type of rally you're going to see. You'll never see a Biden rally. Nobody ever.
And you know what? On the other side, there were some apartments, and in the windows of the apartments, you got the rainbow flag, you got the BLM flag, you got whatever so it was just it's a very interesting mix of people. California, though, is a very, it's just very, very bizarre. Like, it's just not like any other place. Very, very racially diverse. Everybody's mixed in with somebody, and it's just. Another lockdown, I think, would be bad. We've been pretty much shut down for what has it been, 6 months now?
Yeah, more than that.
For almost 6 months, the domestic violence shelters are struggling. Places with high homeless populations, they are struggling to get people off of the streets. The police are struggling to deal with domestic violence calls. You got parents that are stuck at home, single parent households that a lot of them have had to quit their jobs to stay at home with the kids so that the kids can do online school because daycares are closed. Private schools are open because Gavin Newsom, his kids are in private school and they get to go in physically. But the rest of California, unless you can afford private school, you're stuck at home. Mm-hmm. I don't think another 4 to 6 weeks lockdown is going to stop this. And as far, did I tell you my sister was expecting?
No, congratulations.
Thanks. So she's been expecting for a minute now. She has a very high risk pregnancy because she's got a lot of health issues. She's got heart issues. She's got very bad lung issues. She has emphysema. She got really bad allergies, and so she tested positive for coronavirus.
Okay. Does she have symptoms?
So she just had like a fever. Just wasn't feeling well.
And how long ago was this?
This was 2 weeks ago.
Does she still have the fever?
No. So she just felt sick for a little bit, but she was tested positive for coronavirus because baby daddy, her and baby daddy went to baby daddy's family's house. And I guess there's a bunch of people living in the house because it's hard times right now. And they tested positive. So she went to go get tested. She tested positive, but it's been 2 weeks. She got her test back and she's fine and baby's fine. So that just makes me wonder how real this thing is, considering my sister is so high risk and she's got the lung issues, she's got the high risk pregnancy, and the fact that she was fine, now that she's fine and there's no complications, like how real is this?
I mean, look at the cases of flu, right? Where'd the flu go?
Who knows? I ain't getting the damn flu shot. I'm not getting that vaccine either.
Man, I saw Ticketmaster today said, if you want to go to the concert, your ass better have a vaccine or take the test.
Wait, what?
Ticketmaster.
That's a move. Oh, for concerts.
Yeah, for concerts.
So they're not gonna allow you to go to concerts unless you get your vaccine.
Or I think have a negative test result or something like that.
They're probably making you get that vaccine.
That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to push us to mandatory vaccination. I mean, this stuff has been in plans already because in New Jersey, we were fighting this before COVID hit. They were trying to remove religious exemption from vaccination just this year, and I was speaking to Dr. Shiva about it and Sister Samaya. I want to say this might have been, let me go look. When was that interview I did with them? This is going back. Oh, I'm about to find it. Let me see. Hotep, Jesus, Shiva. Let's see. This was streamed 10 months ago. So this is December 27th, 2019. We were talking about this religious exemption. And then Sister Samaya and them came in, I want to say, sometime right after that. I was talking to them and they were talking about their court case or them fighting how do you say can't remember how I want to find the date of that one. But we were fighting this thing before COVID hit. So they had already moved in the courts. They had already moved to remove our ability to say no to these vaccinations.
There's been a lot of stuff that I've seen going on. Did I tell you about the Persian doctor that's very holistic and talks about all this holistic stuff on TikTok?
Mm-mm.
So on TikTok, he got his TikTok banned, but he's back now posting stuff. But I want to say he is a licensed medical doctor. from like UCLA or whatever the heck, but he also focuses a lot on holistic stuff. So he made a TikTok and he's like, you know, a year before coronavirus happened, I got an email from the CDC. They were looking for certified infectious disease physicians. And he's like, and they took the listing down, but he kept the screen cap. And he's like, why would they ask for more infectious disease specialists or pandemic specialists before they knew about any of this stuff happening?
January 24th was this interview with Samaya Simone and Aisha Battle when we spoke about this. So this is January 24th. This is before all this stuff happened. And keep in mind, I had caught something which could have been the coronavirus or flu or something, January 10th or something like that. So I can't say on here because they're watching, but something's in the water, and I think mandatory vaccination is exactly what they're after. Because what comes after mandatory vaccination is the chip.
Mm-hmm. But if you think about it, we're already chipped for the most part with our phones because they track everything.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And
that's and another thing, I actually just thought of this right now. I feel like a lot of people that are coming down with this virus, I feel like a lot of them, the media is so much in their face. They're on social media too much that they're kind of manipulating the symptoms, and they're thinking that they have these symptoms and they're losing their sight, and or not their sight, but they're losing their, the smell and the taste and stuff, because that's what they say the symptom is for coronavirus. And a lot of times we manifest this stuff in our head because if you're around a reality long enough, you're going to start picking up on it. Just like let's say you go to you move to New York. You're probably going to pick up a New York accent, or you move to Texas, you're going to pick up a Southern accent because it's your environment. It's something that you're around. And I feel like it's the same with all of us being on social media as much as we are, is we keep seeing all of these symptoms, all of these things. And when you're really just getting the flu, you're thinking it's corona, and it's not.
Exactly. But they said flu cases are down like 98% this year.
How does that make any sense?
Pneumonia's down, all these diseases are down.
How does that make any sense? It does not make any sense.
Fall down the steps, you get coronavirus.
I'm going to read some tweets because I think that we need to read some tweets.
Let's read some tweets.
What do you think about people that have a joint Facebook account, partners?
Sounds like a great idea.
What?
Sounds like a great idea.
To have a joint Facebook account with your partner?
Yes.
Why?
Sounds profitable. Like managing a social media account's a hard job, right?
Right.
And if you can put a team on it, like ideally you want 5 people on one account. I mean, if you really talking about like for example, when we look at Gatorade has a complete command station for social media. It looks like a Fox newsroom. So there's a lot of things that could be happening. For example, you need someone doing research, you need someone creating the content. And imagine if this stuff was happening in real time, where somebody found something, then the next person is like clipping it and putting it together, and then the next person is like tagging it, and then someone's doing the SEO, right?
Right.
and then you feed it to the person that's actually going to put it on the network, and then you have people monitoring just the network. Like I can divvy up those tasks, whereas sometimes it's one person. So 2 people, and plus, a lot of people love those relationship accounts. They think it's so cute, blah 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 blah. But you don't like it. Why?
Well, I'm talking. Okay, first and foremost, I know a really predominant crypto account. There's 2 people that are running it, and I'm just like, I need to diversify. I need a marketing team behind me to help me run my stuff and to make a F ton of money. That's what I need. So I need, if you run a marketing agency, reach out to me, be my PR. Oh, I've got a PR person, but I need a whole team behind me to build the Wendy brand, and let's make a lot of money. Anyways, I'm talking about relationships. I'm talking about small time. You got like 300 friends. You just family and friends on your Facebook account. If you have, to me, I feel like if you have your partner on your Facebook account as a joint account and you're not there to monetize it, I feel like there's trust issues there.
Potentially, but I don't think that's always the case. But I think that is a potential. There's some potential for that. Absolutely.
I mean, I can see where two people are running it, but to me, it's just kind of cringy.
You don't like nothing. I'm supposed to be the Grinch.
In this episode, I don't like nothing because I'm not happy about a lot of stuff right now. I had a hard day yesterday. Yesterday sucked, man. It sucked.
Why?
Because it sucks when you work so hard. When you work as hard as I do, when you come from where I come from, and you see someone taking food from your plate, that hurts. And it's somebody that I've helped too. That hurts, man.
Yeah, that's fucking trash, man. Stealing people's work. Hoteps, we talk about that a lot. People steal our takes and then run with them and steal my style and run with it. But at the same time, sometimes you got to take it as flattery. But when you straight up call me and ask me a question and I tell you what I'm about to do and then you take it and steal it, I might have to see you on the street.
The streets are calling.
I might have to put you on blast.
Well, I was just in a mood. I was in a mood yesterday just because it's like, I'm just tired of it happening because it's not the first time it's happened. It's happened many, many, many times because people try to duplicate what I have and they can't. Yeah. And no one's going to ever be Wendy O. And all these girls that are in crypto, now, they're not going to be able to be me. They do their cheap tricks and I see right through it. I know what they're doing. There's oof. the tea. But I don't care too much about it, to be honest, because if it's not making me money, I don't care. It's not paying my bills. I don't really care. That particular thing did hurt my feelings, though. I'm not going to lie. I got a little bit sensitive right now about that. Anyways. Oh, do you want to hear who I simp for now?
Who you simp for?
Yeah.
Is it a woman?
It's a man.
It's a man.
It's a man.
In crypto?
No. I saw a video and I posted it on Twitter. I was like, this is so, I don't even think it was like this man was respecting this woman and it was just so nice to see. And then he came out publicly and some of the things that he had said publicly, I had liked what he had said. So I told my husband, I'm like, I simp for him now.
Who?
For Lil Wayne.
Really?
Yes.
Lil Wayne's a good dude, man.
I saw that video with him and Nicki Minaj. I posted it because I saw it on TikTok. So I posted it on Twitter and I said, this is everything. And it's literally him running out of nowhere to help her walk up stage when she goes to claim her award. And it is the sweetest thing I've ever seen because he's dressed, he's got baggy pants on. He looks like he's from the streets and she's in her nice evening gown. And he literally runs from nowhere to hold her hand and to walk her up the stairs.
Yeah. Me and Lil Wayne share the same sign. We're both Libras.
Okay.
That's how we are. We're very protective of women and very respectful of women. And we love women, period, and we'll do anything to protect them. But Wayne's a good dude, man. He's a good dude. I'm not surprised I'm surprised you never saw that clip before. I remember that clip.
I think I had seen it a long time ago, but I watch TikTok at nighttime before I go to sleep. And I was just like, this is so sweet because my man, when we go somewhere, he knows, because I told him early in the relationship, because he's good at opening doors and stuff. I says, anytime I'm wearing heels in a dress, anytime I'm wearing heels, you walk me up and down anywhere that I'm going. That is your job. So he's always done it. And it's just nice to see other people doing that stuff because I'm very old school. And I know a lot of people, like I see these dudes on Twitter, they're like, oh, I don't open doors for women and da-da-da-da. I'm like, to me, if I was single and I was interested in dating someone, if they didn't come open the door for me, that would just be, I would end the date early.
Yeah. Got to think about stuff like that, man. You got to think about stuff like that with women. They go out of their way to look all nice and sexy and beautiful and whatnot. And yeah, we got to be protective of them.
I like that. So I simp for Lil Wayne now, just based off that video. And then did you read the thing that happened with China? How China's they said that we need to work on our human rights issues.
China said that.
This is from the UN Watch. Happening now. We are live tweeting as the United States, as a U.S. record on human rights is now being reviewed at the UN's Human Rights Council by Cuba, Belarus, North Korea, Syria, Iran, China, and other champions of human rights.
China of all people.
But basically, China says that we have systematic racism occurring in the United States, and they need to step in and do something about it because it's not right.
Well, they're right. The liberals are fucking racist, man. And we need to do something about it. I
don't think they're talking about liberals, though. I think they're talking about the red side.
They're wrong if they're talking about the red side. They need to talk about Joe Biden saying if you don't vote for him, you ain't black. That's what they need to talk about. They need to talk about Chelsea Handler talking about you're black, so you can't vote for Donald Trump. That's what they used to do to us in Jim Crow.
Could you imagine, like? Can you imagine just someone coming up to you and tell? Well, I can't imagine because as a woman, people expect me to be a certain type of way, and I'm not, and I don't want to be grouped in with other women. I want to support the women that I want to support based off who they are as a person. I want to support men based off who they are as a person, and I want to support people based off being good human beings. Just because you're a POC or just because you're a woman, I'm not going to support you. If you're a piece of shit, I'm not going to support you.
Right. Big facts. Dimazaja, 13 Canadian dollars, said, darned by idiocy. Here they encouraging public to sign up voluntary to tracker app. When population hit a number, they can enforce it by law. Then blocked from every public space. We have a problem. Yeah, indeed.
Well, that was like what AOC said, where she said that everybody who voted for Trump, they need to be put on a list, basically.
She didn't say everybody that voted for Trump. She did.
You got a soft spot for her.
No, I have a soft spot for fucking being accurate when you say some shit. I
think people took it out of context.
That's definitely my boo. But that's not what she said. She said Trump sycophants, but they were talking about she was talking about a specific group of Republicans. But she still has no excuse, though. She's like, that is still out of bounds, making lists of people and trying to castigate them based upon, who they support. That's some wild shit.
I think that I don't think it's too far-fetched, though.
It's not.
Because we're seeing a lot of the amount of bullying that, like, for people, I feel like men, they still get it, but it's not as bad. But I feel like if a woman is to come out and say that she supports, Trump or anything that has to do with him, then I feel like they really just get reamed. Like I saw that girl get completely reamed on TikTok. I've never seen anything that bad. It was so sad, like so sad. Like, and I think she was gay or she dated women before she got married to her husband. And like, I don't understand the logic of how these people think. And it makes me sad.
Oh, yeah. It's one of the foremost problems we have in America right now is the monolithic forced thought and thinking, which is motivation for the new book I'm writing, and to document this shit so that when people in my family look back, they know how I felt about it. They know the truth about these times. But it's really sad. It's really sad.
I don't know. How are you guys as parents? How are you guys parenting your kids during all of this? And do you have any tips for anybody that's kind of going through or do you have any tips for anyone else that's a free thinker that wants to encourage their children continue to raise strong, inquisitive children without them being
outcasted by society because it's getting to be really hard at this point, I feel like.
Yeah, I always tell this story when Trump got elected and my kids came home from school. Um, they were all like down and out, and I'm like, "What's wrong with y'all?" And they were like, "I don't know." And I just kept probing, and they were like, "Well, everybody at school was just upset because Trump won." And I'm just like, so the vibratory frequency inside the building, the environment, the attitude was pushed off onto the children, and I had to sit them down and explain to them like, the dynamic and the details. And I try to frame it before somebody else does, because I asked my daughter about the whole Trump situation. Are they talking about it in school, or how did the teachers feel? And she said people don't talk about it. She said there was one discussion. There was a white kid that was pro-Trump, and there was a black girl that was anti-Trump, pro-Biden. And the teacher was involved in the conversation somewhat. But she said other than that, they don't really talk about it. And my daughter's aloof. She doesn't care about none of this shit. She just wants to paint and draw and, you know what I mean, and talk to her friends, right? She doesn't care about none of this stuff even makes sense to her. But I've played documentaries and videos and explained this whole white liberal thing to my daughter. And then, for example, one hot topic in school was the immigration. So I broke down immigration and how it hurts black community. And she's like, "Oh, I get it." She's like, why are people fighting for this?" I'm like, "Because they want us dead, baby girl. Because they want the liberals hate us. They have a history of hating black people. They have a history of wanting to control black people. And the powers that be want to destroy this nation so they can enslave all of us. So you have to start your own company so you live above all of this."
That's so sad, though. It's really, really sad for our kids that what they teach in school is that they teach that. I mean, don't get me wrong. The United States is still better than a lot of these other countries. I can say that for me. I can only speak for myself as a woman, because I hear about the other stuff that happens in other countries. I hear that women, the mutilation that goes on, the arranged marriages that go on, the women's rights, like in Saudi Arabia, I don't think they're allowed to drive, just different types of stuff. And I don't have to deal with any of that stuff in America. But it's just really sad that what they decide to teach and what they don't decide to teach the kids in the school, and what they indoctrinate them with. It's doing them a disservice.
Yeah, but that's why the schools are created. The schools weren't created to educate. You think the ruling elite would want to educate the public? No, the schools, as funded by J.D. Rockefeller, were designed to control thought, designed to create the model citizen how they saw it. It wasn't designed to teach anybody.
Then how do you teach? And then how do you teach your kids then? Like, what do? You just homeschool them?
Oh, no, you just frame everything. You say, hey, like, for example, I'll predict what they'll learn at school. Like, here's what you're going to learn, and here's the truth. I'm like, you ever heard about this? No, you ever heard about this? Well, why didn't the school tell you that? And then they just give you that look like, yeah, why didn't they tell us that Christopher Columbus was a goddamn rapist? Why didn't they tell us that, right? So then that makes them question, what they hear from their teacher. But when you teach your kids to question, I think there's a lot of different games you can play with your children to make them question the official story, and say things to your kids, for example, something playful, like, hey, you ever seen a dog that could fly? And they say, no. Like, yeah, it's a dog that can fly. And then you make them believe it for like half a second, and you say, nah, just kidding, right? Like little stuff like that. Anytime somebody speaks now, their mind is automatically going to go, wait, when I hear something questionable, I'm going to question it. So I play a lot of games like that with my kids, just to teach them to question everything, including me.
Well, my husband is really good with that because I'm a woman. I'm a very emotional creature, so I get hype about stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, da, 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 da. But my husband is he's more calm and collective than I, so he will do that with our daughter. And with his kids, it's hard because baby mom, she's very, very liberal, like beyond liberal, and she was one of the ones that said when Trump won the first term, she's like, I can't, like, I guess she had posted on Facebook. She's like, I can't live anymore. I can't believe this happened. This is the end of the world. And he like screen caps all this stuff and sends it to me because like we have each other blocked because we just don't talk. It's better that way. But she's that type. And so for a while, it was hard for him to talk to his kids because they didn't want to disrespect their mother. But at the same time, too, him as a father, he needed to let his kids know, like, you know, this is probably something you want to consider. This is probably you want to consider. And socialism is bad. And this is socialism and, you know, and that type of stuff.
Yeah. Also, everything bad that happens in the world, I just say, oh, look at this. It's communism. So my kids, when they hear the word communism, they automatically think bad. So when they get older, they're just going to be blaming everything on communism.
That is so funny.
You know, the video game doesn't work. Oh, look at this. This is communism.
When the new baby comes, the first word is going to be communism. She's not gonna get the bottle. This is communism, mom. With storms up.
Like I got the big question I had to answer this year was COVID. You know, my kids questioning like, why are we locked down if everybody's surviving and if kids can't get it, right? Because they're, you know, because they I don't know how they get this information, but my son, he was like, Dad, kids don't die from COVID. Why can't we go to school? I'm like, son, you fucking got me with that one, man. It makes no fucking sense. You know what the truth is? The people in power want us locked down because they want to exercise the control they have over us. And stupid people allow this shit to happen. And that's I explain it to them just like that. I don't sugarcoat nothing. I be cussing, and they gonna get it from me raw and real.
Well, for me, it's because my daughter, she's 4, so it's a little bit harder to kind of explain to her what's going on because she comes to me and she says, Mom, she's like, we're washing our hands. She's like, I wash my hands. I take showers every night. I wash my hair every night. I am clean. I'm not spreading bacteria cavities. That's what she calls germs, is bacteria cavities. She's like, I'm not spreading bacteria cavities. I wear my face mask. When can I go back to school? And I says, I was like, because baby, there's still germs. She's like, but can I see them? I says, no, they're microscopic. She's like, so if we can't see them, how do we not know if they're there or not?
See, she knows. Yeah, she's questioning. She's questioning things. That's good. Got to keep that going.
Of course. And then she's just so funny. She goes, I'm so sick of this stupid COVID. She's like, I've just had it with this COVID. I need to go back to school, Mom. And I says, I know, baby. And it's hard. It's hard for the kids. But how do you talk to your kid? Because my daughter, she's 4, she's still younger, but it's like, how do you keep your kids educated and keep them asking questions? And how to deal with possible bullying from other kids at school. Because sometimes if you're the person that's asking questions, people will assume that you support X, Y, and Z when that's not necessarily the case. You're just asking questions because you're inquisitive. How do you frame that to them?
With the COVID thing?
Just with any topic. Maybe they learned something in history class and they're like, no, Dad taught me this. And that's not a popular opinion of.
Oh, well, I tell them that the people at school are stupid. So you can't, for example, when I explain something to them, I said, don't take this to school. Like, that's the first thing I say is do not take this to school because your teacher's stupid and she will not understand it. And if me and your teacher had a conversation, I'd run circles around your teacher. In fact, your teacher is your teacher because she failed at life and she sucks at life. And that's why she has to teach little kids, because if she was good at anything, she wouldn't be having that job. So I frame the people at their school as miscreant individuals of squalor. So I let them know that the people at school it's not a safe place to provide opinions. Right. Opinions are to stay here, and then exercise through paper. My one son's a little bit too honest in some of his papers. I remember one time he wrote a paper and he said, yeah, I love COVID because I get to sleep in class. In school, I can't sleep in school because he'll put his head down and go to sleep in school. And he's actually allowed to because he came down with Lyme disease a few years ago and had to get surgery. They allow him to put his head down and go to sleep in school. Why they don't allow him to do that at home is like, it makes no sense. If he was allowed to do it in school, why not at home, right?
Right.
But whatever. You know, I tell them opinions in this world, opinions must be paid for. If somebody wants your opinion, they should pay you for the opinion.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right? And you should never share opinions for free. And so when they go to school, they don't share their opinions. They just collect their information, come home and bring it to me, and we discuss it. And then I let them know, all right, this stays between us. And here's the answer to that question, but it stays between us, okay? I get them to confirm and promise, okay? Good. Now, here's the truth. Christopher Columbus liked butt sex with little boys. And I just lay it on him as plain as possible, you know? And that's how it goes.
I think that that's like a really great way to do it. My dad, like when I was growing up, I remember I was always very outspoken because my dad was that way. And I think part of the reason why is when he got sick, because he wasn't getting enough oxygen to his brain because he had a lot of heart issues, he just started being really out of character. But he was that way too, is he would explain stuff to me at home, but then he would tell me, like, if you have something to say, you need to stand up for what's right, because he was also very big on teaching me and my sisters about our Jewish heritage, about what happened to our people and how we were, you know, just all the crazy things that happened to us. And he was always like, he's like, that's not going to happen again on my watch. We're never going to forget that. It's never going to happen again. So that's probably why I didn't have a lot of friends growing up, is because I used to ask a lot of questions and want to know things. But one thing I do have to say before we get going is I disagree with you a little bit about all the people that do decide that they want to teach at schools.
You say you disagree with what?
Because you said that did you just say that the people, like teachers and stuff, they're there because they're miserable? I forgot exactly what you said.
Because they suck at life.
Okay, so I agree and I disagree with that. And the reason being why I disagree with part of it, my aunt is a very, very miserable, negative person, but she became a teacher because she wanted to she didn't have kids of her own, but she really did want to help kids. And so and she went to a very expensive college in California. She went to the Claremont colleges to get her degree, and they're like they're more expensive than USC and UCLA because they're like boutique colleges. But she, instead of working at a really high level school, she actually worked in the hood. She worked in Baldwin Park. And she taught the kids there. And Baldwin Park is a very rough neighborhood. It is not nice. It is very dangerous there. But she taught there for 20 years because she really wanted to make a difference. And then after like the first 5 years, she realized that she wasn't going to be able to make a difference and just became an even more bitter bitch. So,
yeah, I mean, there are exceptions to the rule, right? Not every teacher is a fucking lowlife, and some go into that profession because they actually do care. But for the most part, those motherfuckers are there because they suck at life.
Well, and they're lazy too, because you go in and you get a pension, you get a salary, and you just do whatever the hell you want.
And you only work for half a year.
Right. So that's all I had to say about that. Do you have anything else to say before we go?
Hotep's been told you tomorrow night at 8 p.m. I'll be guest speaker tomorrow night for the Futurist Conference at 7 p.m. Yes. So look forward to that, 7 to 7:40. That's going to be lots of fun. In fact, Wendy, can I get some time on your calendar to help me out with that?
Yes. What do you need? What day?
Tomorrow.
Okay. What do you need me to do?
Or right now, like after we get off the stream, we can take 5 minutes.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So after we get off the stream, we'll just run through it real fast.
Okay, let's do it. Right. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, set alerts. Check out Hotep tomorrow with Uncle Hotep to get some real knowledge. And remember, ask questions at home, not in public.
Indeed. Let me see.